Hi everyone, welcome to Best Recipes with Sharon. Today I will show you how to make these chocolate covered strawberries. There are so many ways to do them, but these are just a few of my favorites. Would you like some? Alright, so let me show you how to make your own. Start by choosing some of the freshest strawberries you can find. Now I'm using 3 different types of chocolate. The bar type is really my favorite, but you can use any type of chocolate that you choose. The smaller the pieces, the faster it is to melt. Sometimes I melt in the microwave on 30-second intervals until it's just about melted, and then I take and stir it briskly with a spoon to finish it. Or you can use the double boiler method. And this is just where you place a bowl over top of a pot of boiling water like this. And you'll also need a couple of small glasses or a couple of cups to place your melted chocolate in. It needs to be fairly deep and narrow so that the whole strawberry can be submersed. I like it to be clear glass so that I can see what's actually happening when I'm dipping it. And using the cup, you can hang on to that a little bit easier. Now the double boiler method I use mostly for chocolate chips or certain types of chocolate that actually likes to cook before it melts. So it's a little hard to do it in the microwave sometimes. This allows it to melt just a little bit slower than the microwave, but you still have to stay right with it. And because you melt it in a larger bowl, you need to dump it into your smaller containers before you can dip your strawberries, so a little more to it. Whatever method you use, it depends on the type of chocolate you have, but always make sure that you have pure chocolate. And then I just take a little sandwich bag and cut the corner off of it, and then set aside a little bit of chocolate for decorating after, and I will set aside enough for the 3 different types of chocolate as well. Give yourself lots of options. And go ahead and start dipping your chocolate. This is white chocolate, and the other one that I have here is a dark chocolate. And I'm just going to dip it 3/4 of the way and leave the top part of the strawberry showing. That's one way to do it. And this creates its own effect. This is a bit of a messy job. Be prepared to wash your hands quite often throughout this, but it's well worth it. And as you can see here, a little bit of chocolate goes a long way. It actually does do quite a bit. It's hard to say how much you need to melt because it depends on how many strawberries you really want to make out of it. And you will get used to that as you go along. Now here I'm dipping it in some milk chocolate. I melted this one in the microwave. I just chopped the chocolate bar up into smaller pieces, put it in the cup, threw it in the microwave on 30-second intervals until it was melted, and usually it took about maybe a minute, minute and a half to melt about this much. I love the quality of those chocolate bars. This is so smooth and creamy, and it sets really well too. And I'm fully submersing these ones. Now here I'm using the white chocolate, and it's in the bar form as well. So I'm just chopping into smaller pieces, putting it into the microwave and melting it in 30-second intervals, just like I said. And once again, I'm fully coating the strawberry. And there's a reason for this. You'll see when I finish decorating this one. And this chocolate is on the runny side when it's melted like this, but it really sets well. And even though you let it drip off as much as you can, you'll still find that it'll sit in a little bit of a pool of chocolate. But that's okay, just get all your strawberries dipped and we'll deal with that later. And as you can see, I'm using parchment paper on a cookie sheet. And as they start to set, I take them off of that parchment paper and I move them onto maybe a plate or another piece of parchment paper that's nice and clean. That leaves a little bit of that extra chocolate behind. So I did a little bit of partial and fully dipped ones. So on to decorating. Here I'm just chopping a few pecans. And these will need to be chopped fairly fine. They will also need to be put on while the chocolate is still wet. And so that's one idea. Then on to drizzling a little bit of white chocolate over top of the dark chocolate. And it's just using the Ziploc baggie to drizzle it back and forth like this. And you don't have to be perfect, you just zigzag back and forth and I'll show you how it looks. Now you could leave it just like that, or you could take a toothpick or a wooden pick like this and make a design down it like this. Pretty easy, eh? And it doesn't have to be done absolutely perfect because even the ones that are a little bit irregular will still look nice. And you can see what I mean right here. Not too bad, eh? Now this one's dipped in white chocolate, but covered with dark chocolate, and the same effect, with a little bit different look. So once again, just drizzling it back and forth. Doesn't have to be perfect, but in the end, it turns out looking pretty good. Then I'm just going to take the wooden pick and pull down from the top again, just like I did with the other ones. And you get that same effect where it looks quite sophisticated. As the wooden pick gets to the bottom, I just tie it in at the bottom of the strawberry a little bit. That just helps to give it a better and finished look. So what if it does go kind of drastically wrong? So I'm just going to drizzle some on top here aimlessly, and then just show you how you can marble it to make it look like you meant to do it. Yeah, check this out. So this doesn't look so awful bad when you marble it together like this. But if you have one that you made a mistake on and you just had to kind of fix it up this way, you might want to do more than one just so it doesn't look like an oddball by himself. Give him company. And you can just leave some with the zigzagged effect. Now these next ones are going to be Tuxedos. So they're going to be double dipped. They need to be set first really well for the first layer of white chocolate. Then take it and double dip it in the dark chocolate, just zigzagging it gently back and forth like this to create the V shape. We'll get these guys suited up. These ones were fully dipped in the white chocolate. The lines on these are pretty crisp and fresh. I really like the effect that this gives. But I did a little bit of both, partial dip as well as fully dipped, just to show you a little bit of difference in effect. But I favor the fully dipped ones for the tuxedo look. They have such a nice professional look about them. Now there's different ways to put the buttons on and the bow tie. Here I'm just using the tip of the baggie to create that effect. But I've also used the tip of the bamboo sticks that I actually just purchased those at the grocery store. And toothpicks are helpful too, just to tidy it up a little bit. And as you can see when you're putting the buttons on, that sometimes you get a little bit of a point that doesn't want to let go. Don't worry too much as long as it doesn't come back on the white, because as it starts to dry you can just take the tip off of that and make it look flat like a button. We're getting each of these dressed up quite nicely. This is looking pretty good. I'm quite enjoying this and I hope you do too. This does explore the artistic side in you a little bit more than the other types. The other types are much quicker to do. This takes a bit of time and patience, but it's well worth it, and they taste so good. With the two types of chocolate like that, they really accent each other well. Now, there's a lot you can do with strawberries. These are just a few ideas, and it depends on how much patience you have and how much time you have. But you know what? If you're going to make this for a special occasion, take the time and dedicate your full attention to it, and you'll come out with something that you'll be very proud of. Now, anybody can do this. So go ahead, give it a try. Thanks for watching Best Recipes with Sharon, and until next time, happy eating!